Yeah, well, so you're supposed to be here all the time. There you go. Okay, now. Can we live on YouTube also, y'all? So Instagram get the tripping. We live on YouTube. Can y'all hear me? Right on. Thank you for the support. Y'all put the word out, SatanHamptonHouse.org. That's our website. Go there. It's a donate button. Press the donate. Go to my YouTube. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Live. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. spelled out. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen, we like that. Come on YouTube now.
I'm actually rolling with us, folks. I guess he's Chairman Fred Hampton. You know Fred's story. You'd like to speak to him, 800-450-7876. Actually, Fred, we had Emory Douglas on, who was the Minister of Culture for the Black Panthers. Also, Brother Muhammad Mubarak is one of the OG Panthers out of L.A. And I told them you were coming out today, and one of the questions they wanted to ask me was, if Bobby Rush is working with you guys, helping you with the Hampton House?
Well, you know, just recently, in past answers, you know, the campaign has been going on for quite some years. In fact, you probably have more better documentation now, because you've been consistent. Let us come on the air, you know, talk about the show, and we talk. You know, we did programs. There was no water, no heat, so the answer then was no. But now he and other elected officials have got on board pushing for this campaign by having it designated as a historical landmark. So that's a recent, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like everything else, you know, it's tug and pull, so you gotta we gonna hold the line, you know what I'm saying, even when it's not there. But Congressman Rush, who else? Congressman Davis, others, some other elected officials have got online. We was about to submit this position this past October 15th. We're going to do on December 4th for the Hampton House to be a historical landmark. So he has got on board in regards to supporting that call.
Oh, great! That's good news.
We're not satisfied. We're not a revolutionary is never satisfied. We still need so much assistance with so many other different things. So I mean we say right on, acknowledge that, but so we gotta keep the momentum going.
So what is it that you need for the Hampton House?
Oh, the Hampton House is bigger than the building, more significant in structure. It's not stagnant. We constantly serve the needs and desires of the people. For example, you go back some of the archives that shows that we've done, and the programs have expanded, have been upped, ranging from the Triple C's, the Children's Community Cubs. We have the community refrigerator. We just did update it right now in the middle of a food desert. So we constantly up in the ante, and the needs. So it may be just to stay in constant contact, like doing what was known as the vortex, one of the coldest days in Chicago history. The Hampton House served as a warming center. Where people can come in and get warm. We're trying to get a studio built. We haven't been able to make sure studio. Young brother came through last night, DC Fly from comedian from 85 South. We had a meeting last night similar to that of the meeting that Chairman Fred Hampton had with comedian genius Richard Pryor when he came to Chicago. So we talked about even setting up a podcast, officially, like not just with me, but like a table, all the artists and people, they come in town, they sit down and talk ongoing. One thing about the Cubs, one thing about the Hampton House is ever developing. So a lot of times people say, okay, this is gonna be a one-hit quitter. We just touch it. This is the museum is a living, breathing. Exactly. So we dealing with this here. The constant murders that's going on in the community. We right now we got to go to. We just had the Hampton House served as a drop-off station for water, bottles of water, because Stateville, aka Deathville, Stateville Prison, the prisons have no water. They have been receiving bags of water. So we along with Cassandra Lee, the widow of Nicholas Lee, who died in Cook County Jail, who really murdered in Cook County Jail, but COVID. The Hampton House is served as a drop-off. So right now, you asked me that today, we need bottles of water. Then the Cook County, that's for Stateville. Cook County Jail, we've been the largest jail in the country. We've been fighting the contradictions inside there to the point that this past September 11, which marked the 50th year anniversary of the Attica uprising, over 58 prisoners refused to lock up, and they demanded that myself, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., be able to come inside the Cook County Jail as a community observer, similar to the demand that the prisoners in Attica demanded that Chairman Bobby Seale and others be able to come in and see what's going on inside Attica. So in response to that, the sheriff of Cook County Jail, Tom Dart, tried to have me identified as some sort of gang chief. And even the guards were saying, wait a minute, how do we do this? They confused us because they said we have prisoners from different organizations. Some not even in the organization. And the prisoners said, wait a minute. I'm kind of hesitant to say prisoners because it should be noted these are people that like a detained. They have not even been convicted of a crime yet. They're in Cook County Jail. And they said, no, we want Chairman Fred to come to see the conditions here. This is not about no. We have different organizations. This is about our human rights. So the people we had the Hampton House also served as we did call-ins to the county jail demanding that bogus tag be taken up off of me. And so it helped expose some contradiction. They said, well, usually when more than 10 people adhere or listen to one person, they see him as a gang chief. They say they never seen 58 prisoners from all different walks of life, different races, inside the county jail. You know what I'm saying? Say, man, we demanded Chairman Fred be brought up in there. So so it's constant. This is not stagnant. I just told the young brother just now, one of the guys that came from Portland, I was listen, this ain't no, I ain't your typical, we ain't the Cubs, we not just into no bunch of what Chairman Fred called intellectual masturbation. We ain't just doing a bunch of talk. You know what I'm saying? We constantly get our ear to the ground. We constantly serving the needs and desires of the people. And, you know what I'm saying? And I say, it's like playing basketball. You got to be on a pivot with us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got the race luxury or the class luxury. They come out there, the stage is set, the uniforms are there, the Gatorade juice is there, the cheerleaders is there, the cameras, applause. Us, it's like playing alley ball. You know, so we got to move on a pivot. You know, so we got to constantly, you know what I'm saying? They fouling us, they killing us, they locking us up, kicking through our doors. So it's a constant, ever-developing process.
So what happened to that? They demanded that you come in and see the conditions. What happened?
We still that's still been worked out now. You know, the prison administration was saying, well, first step was that a lot of internal contradictions came out. Like I say, even a lot of the guards were saying, "This man, how do you know?" Because the ruling class so used to moving these arbitrary attacks. Everything black, you can be the black people, black family reunion, be an argument. Oh, gang activity. And black people pass gas. Oh, that's gang activity. They so used to just throwing this brand on us without no response, and they confused right now. They was even saying, well, how do we list them? Like, because all the organizations, all the religions, like similar to when I got placed in the Supermax, TAMS, the administration said, wait a minute, you talk to everyone. You go to all the religious service. You have say and say, wait a minute, and we forced them to point blank say, no, he's Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He has the ability to organize. So that conflict is being dealt with right now. So then some propositions were put forward about what if I talk to him on Zoom and to look at the conditions of Zoom. Our position was no. We got to go in there and see and smell the conditions that's going on inside this concentration camp. You didn't have the Nuremberg trial, Nuremberg hearings. You know what I'm saying? Through no. It was on film, but people had to go smell them gas chambers. You know what I'm saying? You don't have when the inspectors come in to check the meat is spoiled. You don't do no camera up there. They got to go smell that rotten meat. You know what I'm saying? Got to go up in Cook County Jail and see these conditions where these 17-year-old women are forced to rinse their sanitary napkins for reuse. Got to smell the conditions, how they got these brothers packed up in these cages like sardines. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We got to get this necessary. We got to come in and people say, well, is he willing to do it? Yeah, that's my office, the streets. And a lot of people say, man, that's crazy. Never heard about nobody that's willing to go up in the jail. Cook County Jail is so notorious. Gil Scott-Heron wrote a poem about it. You know what I'm saying? How notorious it was. It's people who have been in Cook County Jail who would not drive past that street never again. They don't go past it. No images. But as a servant of the people, I'm obligated. You know what I'm saying? People come in as an objective observer.
If you just joined us, folks, Chairman Fred Hampton is our guest. His office, as you mentioned, the streets of Chicago. We'll get into the police department in a moment. But we start off having a discussion about the 55th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party. 800-450-7876. And if Chairman Fred just mentioned the last time he was here, that some of the inmates of the Cook County Jail were calling for Chairman Fred to come in and see what the conditions are like. Chairman, the last time you were here, and I think you were on with the sister who her husband was in the Cook County Jail.
Cassandra Greer Lee. Her husband was one of the initial victims in Cook County Jail when the first discussion was going on about coronavirus. Cook County Jail was designated as a hot spot. You know, so mind you, Cook County Jail is the largest jail in the country, and he was like the third victim, you know, that we lost inside Cook County Jail. She was talking to him. He was giving blow by blow detail, the deteriorating conditions, and on the phone with her, you know what I'm saying, and you know, not supply any sanitary products. And mind you, before coronavirus, Cook County Jail was notorious. You know what I'm saying? In fact, we say coronavirus is capitalism on steroids. You dig? So it was notorious. So she has been on the ground. It's not just only about in regards to the loss of her husband. She has been moving. We took a bus down to Oakland. The Logan Women's Prison. Exposed the conditions down there. You know, we posed to some products down to Louisiana after the storm hit Louisiana, and we're working on getting the bus down to Oakland. And it's all this tied into the work the state of Hampton is doing. So I just want to say I appreciate people calling, asking what other people are doing with Hampton. We also want to let people know we need their support. We need the deal is this is the people's program. So we need people to go to SaveTheHamptonHouse.org, hit the donate button, go to Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House. Come directly over here, 804 South 17th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, 60153. Send them money or whatever to support the work that we're doing here at the Hampton House.
All right, we're coming up on a break, but again, are they still, if the authorities at Cook County Jail, they allowed you to come in and see what's going on?
Not yet. We still need that people pressure. They're not gonna do it on their own volition. They feel, you know, it's the right thing to do. We need the people that we got called in, you know, flooding, demanding that I be able to, you know, be brought up in there. You know, go see what's going on.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and we got some folks who want to talk to you, Chairman. 800-450-7876. You too can join this discussion. Speak to Chairman Fred next on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Let me know if y'all can see me on live on YouTube. Y'all tune in live on YouTube, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Let me know if y'all hear that.
Information broadcasted to the world each week, from Hall of Famers like the great Spencer Haywood to governors of state like Larry Hogan. Coach Butch has one-on-one interviews, conversations, and dialogue each week with high-profile guests digging deep into the world of sports and beyond. For more than 40 years, Coach Butch McAdams,
right on, respect,
and leader in urban sports. Each week, different guests. So don't miss In and Out of Sports every Sunday.
Let's get the catch. Appreciate that, brother.
Right on, Reggie. WOL 1450 AM, 95.9 FM, and WOLDCnews.com for daily sports talk with In and Out of Sports with Coach Butch McAdams. Log on 6 p.m. to blogtalkradio.com. Brought to you in part by Horton's Funeral Home and powered by the Foster Jones Group.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything. We really appreciate what she's done as a sister as well as a soldier, and, you know, supporting the country.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join.
Family members that are soldiers in the Army National Guard inspire and influence.
Loud and clear, right on. Right on, Rio. Let people know to subscribe, man. Free them all. If you know, tap in, subscribe to Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. on YouTube. Tap and like it, do all the technology stuff that we talking about. Y'all know this ain't really my thing. Leave it to me. I have 2 tin cans and a string be on here.
You and your family will share it. A lot of pride, and they're just out there doing something every day and then serving the country as well.
I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture.
Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Maryland Army National Guard. Aired by the Maryland, D.C., Delaware Broadcasters Association at this station.
In January of 2017, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
And within 24 hours of that diagnosis, we found ourselves here in Memphis at St. Jude. They knew what they were doing. They knew how they were going to treat her. They laid out this elaborate plan.
We didn't know what the future was, or if there even was a future. But with St. Jude, There was.
Not that long ago, the survival rate was 4%. 4%. But through the work and research that St. Jude does, that's now 94%. And you know how that got done? It's through donations. By people getting behind this mission that no child dies in the dawn of life.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Oh, power to the people.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Carl Nelson Show, now available on iTunes.
I'd like to share with us, folks, I guess it's Chairman Fred Hampton. Number to call to speak to the chairman is 800-450-7876. Get back to the woman. Let me just remind you, coming up in the next few days, you're going to hear from educator Professor James Small, also future speaker researcher Brother Sadiq Bakari will be here, and Griot, Dr. Leonard Jeffers, and some other surprising guests going to be here as well. So if you're in the DMV, keep your radio locked. Right here on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. So unless some folks want to speak to the chairman, let's go to line 3. Anita's calling. Anita's in South Carolina. Anita, you're on with Chairman Fred.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes, you were. Anita.
I missed the first half an hour, but I'm in North Carolina actually. But I grew up in Chicago. Bobby Rush was my congressman at one point, and so was Jesse Jackson Jr. But what I'm going to say is, since I missed the first half an hour, I'm a grandma. I have 6 children that's gone through college. I want to do anything that I can do to help you with a grandma program to donate my time and energy and talent to whatever you're doing. They're free to give you my phone number. My name is Anita. And I would like to see Chicago revamped. I would like to see our children have jobs. I'd like to see a Michael Jackson museum to bring international business there. I would like to see a hospital that Elijah Muhammad wanted Black people to have more than one so that they would not have bad health from eating bad food. And then I would like to see big stores like Walmart use the NBA to revamp the food and all of that, for what fitness really is, and whatever the Black Panther Party could do to help that so that they can have jobs and international trade with people coming in as tourism. If we could try to see if we could do something like that, because our people deserve everything. We're wonderful, and I'm so glad you're in the prisons. I'm really, really glad. And Al Sharpton's brother is in the prisons, too. His name is Kenneth Glasgow, and I've been working with him for years. So whatever we can do, to help, I'd be more than happy to help.
All right, hold on, Anita. Chairman Fred, you want to respond to what Anita just said?
But first, let me premise with this: that we appreciate you. Make sure you stay in contact with us. I'm gonna get your contact also at SatanHamptonHouse.org. In fact, say whatever resources. That's not limited to just financial support, but ideas and thoughts you have. We just had a discussion. One of the seniors 2 levels down from the Hampton House. We do stuff. She gives us ideas. We have a program with the seniors in particular, like going pick up furniture and stuff like that. The lawn care service. We're trying to get something before this snow for the winter kick in. Snow removal service, and a lot of programs we want to do, I put them on hold because the woman shit is embedded and based with the politics. A lot of times people say, "Oh, let's just come together." I said, no. He said, "Oh, here come Chairman Fred. Always gonna leave out the politics. It has to be. We got to push that. Like Minister UEP don't even struggle. We say we must even politicize the gun. What makes our gun different than the police gun? The breakfast program, all the politicizing of it. So we struggling. So again, any ideas you got, we look forward to it. We have a program we have with the singers. Saying like we not just the cold weather, but just high crime areas, the senior check-ins. These are the program Black Panther Party cuz have. But let me say this too. I love the ideas you came, and I do relate to what Commandante Che Guevara said. Let's be realistic. Let's do the impossible. However, I do let people know my last name is Hampton, not Houdini. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's Hampton, not Houdini. The deal is we are under attack. There's a war being waged on us. And one of the advantages, those who have waged the war, those who have been don't even know it. We a lot of us don't even want to acknowledge it. Some people are under pressure. There's a war on drugs. There's a war on guns. There's a war on gangs. There's an outright war waged on our people. And it utilizes pretty terms: gentrification, affordable housing, mass incarceration, police brutality. We are fighting to get exposed that brutal, raw reality. And a lot of us don't want to acknowledge that because it's ugly. We're fighting to expose the concentration camps in Cook County Jail and other places. We're fighting to expose the land grab, not the gentrification. We're fighting to expose the continuous police terrorism. Like even Alcoholics Anonymous said, the first step in addressing the problem is recognizing that we have a problem.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
Sure, go ahead, Adita.
The mustard seed, it grows, and it's all your faith you need, and you're a child of God, and trust me, you're going to get everything done that you want to get done, and you just got to believe it and ask God to show you how to do it. And the Middle East has plenty of money. That's what Elijah Muhammad used. Go get whatever you need.
And I thank you. I appreciate you. And we have to. I'm not seeing. I don't get impressed. I'm a pessimist because I've definitely. The fact that we still here, I know this. I know we're gonna be victorious, but it's a battle, and I cannot negate the fact that there are those amongst us that have a different agenda. That we have to expose that. We have to be clear of that. It's not that. I think we speak French too much at the wrong times. We have to be very clear. What I'm saying? There's a different agenda. And the cardinal principle of warfare, Sun Tzu said, to know thyself and know thy enemy. But again, I'll definitely stay in contact with you. I appreciate you now, and definitely that faith, because there's been times we kissed the casket, tango with torture, dance with death, and we still here. The Hampton House, you know what I'm saying? People would say, "Oh, he crazy." We're not gonna be here this long, But I thank God. I thank the ancestors. I thank our people for even getting this far. But the struggle continues, and we have to apply that pressure. Brother asked earlier, regardless of different, with support, Congress, Russia, others. And I got to be upfront with you. That was, and we need some tangible support, resources, funds. And I have pride. It's her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not calling for no personal trajectory to serve the people. Our war chest need to be backed up. You know what I'm saying? And we know if we don't put that call out and the people, not just me as an individual, but the people. You know what I'm saying? They gotta we gotta turn them on. That's what the real power base is at. And we capable of making these moves, capable of doing what you're talking about doing. But we gotta have some. Also, we got some community colon cleansers. Also, we gotta get a lot of that waste up out of here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be upfront about it. Community colon cleansers. That's quote me on that. That's Chairman Fred term. We gotta have a lot of community colon cleansers. Can't laugh at myself at that one. Thank you, Anita. Thank you. Thank you.
800-450-7876. CT's calling from California online too. CP, you're on with Chairman Frank.
Thanks, hey, this is one of the days I always appreciate this program. But this is one of the days I really appreciate you taking my call. I want to say this. They had a rap song once. I forgot who it was. They stop what you're doing because you're about to ruin. Some of these little cool down people, you've been stopping what you're doing. And you already ruined a lot of things, but we ain't going nowhere. My question is not my question. My statement is this. Why is this young man here still out here struggling at the level that his father and people back in the 60s were struggling at? Because one of the reasons, because of you cool down college. We got all the sisters out here, a lot of sisters stepping out, and a lot of you cool down people selling out so fast and stuff. You should be ashamed of yourself. You know what happened to this young man's father? He could have folded up a long time ago and said, I'm not going to go, I'm just going to do something else. But he's out here still on the front line. And a lot of you cool down house, you know what, should be ashamed of yourself because the ancestors is watching and his father is among the ancestors. And you guys should really be ashamed of yourself because you drive and sleeping. You don't know these people trying to declare war on us. And we can't let him just be out here by himself, even going to the jail. We've been there, done that in this county jails out here and stuff. And they still don't believe that we're real about it because of the cool down house. You know what? And I appreciate this young man, and this is all of our son. His father's not here. His biological father's not here. This is our son. This ain't no joke. This is our son. I was in Chicago in 1967 when the brothers over there said, look, for every one of us get hurt by the hands of you people or one of our people out here, you're going to have to answer to us. The children couldn't even be out doing school hours because they wanted to know, look, where you supposed to be, and they had commercials. Do you know where your children are? We have to come back while we got the attention of some of these other people that don't look like us children. Some of their children are ready to move on some stuff. And when that brother go in the jailhouse, I hope he's protected and people be with him so the world can see that, look, this is the conditions, this is what your taxpayer dollars paying for, and we need to stop it. We need to consider ourselves changing to stop talking about it and be about it. And don't keep on letting these young people like this be on the front line out there by themselves. They deserve our help. We do that to them. You know, you should be real ashamed. At my age now, still fighting like this here, and got this man son out here fighting like this, you should be ashamed of yourself. You guys know who you are. Stop playing game and get real before the laws of the universe wrap their fists around your neck. All right, one love, peace. And Brother Fred, you know, hey, I got you right here in my heart, brother. I'll be checking on you to the day I die. And even after the end, I'm going to still be checking on you. One love, peace.
One love. I appreciate Brother CP so much. He consistent, checks up on me, and like, updates, we back and forth, what's going on. Matter of fact, he had just pulled my coattail earlier. I meant to check into it. So I'm going on in Grambling. So, we dialoguing earlier. And I appreciate him so much. And I appreciate the people because, Ministry repeating to other people, revolution is impossible, but there are some shootings at Grambling. I'm not hip to that. So me and CP, we hit each other up. He hit me, say, what's going down at the end? I was just telling him about the thing in Kenner, Louisiana, where the sister was, you should get the video footage with the policeman. Got this sister about her dreadlock, beating her down. So we working on getting down to Kenner, Louisiana also about that. But I just appreciate Brother CP and so many others because, we have eyes and ears all over. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm so honored to serve the people, and I want to make sure I balance this out because a lot of people got access and ability to help that there's not. But also, let me be very clear. There are some people out here, again, CP and others, man, that they got our back, like a backpack, got our chest like a bulletproof vest.
Gotcha. 800-450-7876. Come on a break, but let's go to Donna. Donna's reaching out to you from DC. She's on line 4. Donna, you're on with Chairman Frank.
Hello, Chairman. I just got to ask, why do black men and boys keep doing things to get themselves locked up in the first place? It's not like a lot of them, they're doing stuff. You can't break the law and then say that people out to get us. Because, you have black people terrified of them too. They just shooting at each other, shooting kids and everything. You can't keep saying white men making you go kill each other It's just ridiculous. I mean, I support your cause, but somebody needs to tell these black men to stop doing stuff to get themselves incarcerated. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Donna. And Chairman Fred, I'll let you respond to what Donna said on the other side. We got to take a short break so some of our stations can identify themselves down the line. Stations like FM 95.9 and AM 1450. KOL, where information is power.
I'll tell you. I can tell you.
Look, like you said, my name is Hampton. Because I'm going to use that one. Just so you know, I'm going to give you credit. I'm going to give you credit, but I'm going to use it.
Right. Give my credit.
Because I still use you from school. Be like, this one, his name is not fleshed out.
An organization created to help harm men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors and veterans hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. The Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
I like that coffee too. Right there in the crate.
1-800-111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak.
But I have the website now that I had a stroke. I started when you get it on Monday. So once I get my first check, I'm going to do a donation.
Everything's changed. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240, DJ, Washington. 95.9, WMNJ, HD3, Bethesda. WKYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com. The Carl Nelson Show. On 1450 and 95.9. Worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
Thank you for sharing with us, folks. Our guest is Chairman Fred Hampton. We'd like to speak to the chairman. 800-450-7876. Before we left, Donna called in from Washington, D.C., and Donna was saying that some of the folks behind bars that deserve to be behind bars. So, Chairman Fred, your response. Is Chairman Fred there? I'm not hearing Chairman Fred. So hopefully he may have stepped away from his phone. He'll come back and respond to what Donna just said. But saying that some of the folks behind bars deserve to be behind bars. While we wait on Chairman Fred to come back, just want to remind you that educated Professor Small is going to be here. Also, futuristic researcher, Brother Sadiq Bakar is going to join us at Rio. Dr. Lynn Jeffries is going to get an update on the sitting that's taking place over at the Howard University. Actually started last week's Tuesday. I understand some of the students are still upset and they're still sitting in because they have not yet. We have not heard. Is Chairman there? Some he's on the air, but no response. Oh, okay, he's not responding. Okay, but hopefully he may have stepped away from this thing, so we'll get him back. Oh, okay, but yeah. So we're going to find out what's going on with the students at Howard University. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about as well. And I got to tell you, got to listen to when Brother Sadiq comes on because he's always telling some earth-shattering information that a lot of folks don't really understand. So he's another one of these brothers you got to listen to really, really keenly what he's saying, and you got to follow him really keenly. You just can't listen with half an ear. You got to put your whole body inside that speaker to hear what he's going to say. So he's going to be here along with Rio, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Dr. J is going to tell us about the time when he crossed paths with Colin Powell at City College in New York. So we're going to hear some interesting conversation. We'll hear probably more about that too with Professor James Small as well. So hopefully we get Chairman Fred on. Chairman Fred.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back with you. Yes.
Oh, good. Chairman Fred, did you hear what Donna said? That some of the folks behind bars guards deserve to be there. This is a fluent guy, but she said some of
Oh,
the
okay.
mention some of the things that are committed. But your thoughts?
Yeah, again, let me thank her for the call. I beg to differ. In fact, some people may see it as a cop out, but everything is political. You cannot, everything on this modern day plantation. That whether it be from chitlins to crack cocaine to the crime, I'm willing to have a discussion and an objective analysis. In other words, a lot of people would like to have a reactionary position. Well, let's not talk about that. The premise, the birth, the conditions, and I do acknowledge that there are some casualties in war. Believe me, I know that there are some who have been. I told back to the older lady down the street, and we was having a discussion. I'm gonna go so far as to say this. I just said this yesterday. It's ironic we having this discussion. I said, this system's so diabolic. Even with the crack cocaine, that Hiroshima, that bomb they dropped on our people. Not only did it's a chemical biological warfare that the more melanin, the more darker you are, the more easily addictive you are. You got to think what type of mad scientist would do something like that. I say also, you look at the dynamics in our community, how grandparents are raising grandchildren in a type of contradictions we are faced with, even with that. The trickle-down impact that comes from colonialism, from the breeding process, the bucks, you cannot. If you come in with a reaction, both of you have a reactionary assessment. You walk up and go see the movie Friday the 13th for Jason. You go and see Part 4, and you see people beating up Freddy Krueger or Jason. Why are they doing it to that person? That is really bad. You say, hold on. You coming in late. This person been killed. Every dynamic, the orphanages, why do you think the white community, for example, it's a case in Detroit called White Boy Rick. Called White Boy Rick in Detroit. This white dude is suing the government. Let me say this again. I know I'm just saying the chairman talking kind of fast. White Boy Rick got a movie made after him. They're talking about how he was 14 years old, and he's suing the government because they use him as a snitch. The police, they acknowledge he's a child. They're talking about the brain development of a child. They're talking about the conditions, how he was forced to sell drugs to police. When it comes to black people, see, in Nazi Germany, they acknowledge who created the ghettos. Somehow, some people have been flattered under the impression that we created the ghettos. You know what I'm saying? It's this dynamic that you're saying, the dynamics of choice. You closed down 50 public schools at one time in the city. You know what I'm saying? Go look at the animal channel. Look at the animal channel. They took away all the male elephants. They brought one bull around, one male elephant. When the other elephants were going through, they called musk, M-U-S-K, puberty, fighting each other. Oh, those are bad elephants. They must be Virgos. No. It's a natural dynamic with the elephants going through this period in their life. Just the presence of that elephant got the elephants in check. Look at I don't want to use the word community. Look at strategically how it's not even the community. I told someone the other day, I say, go back in the movie industry, the TV industry growing up. Go look in your schools. No black men. I said, one thing we seen of a black man in the TV was James Evans on Good Times. I say, now, show me one example they showed him outside the house. You cannot have this bubble Tyler Perry movie discussion like we in a bubble. All these, see, we relate to the philosophical tool known as dialectical materialism. That acknowledges that your actions are impacted by others and you are impacted by other people's actions. The dynamics in the community. You know what I'm saying? It's an old saying, God created Africans and America made niggas. We add on to that. The man in the machine manufactured Chirac. I just said they got 17-year-old girls in Cook County Jail forced to visit their sanitary napkins reused. What type of psyche do you think when they release their producers? Do you know what's going on in the orphanages? The Department of Children and Family Services. Chairman Mao Zedong said, no investigation, no right to speak.
Yeah, you know what? Before I not a play. It's a program, a computer program that makes you can be a gang member from Chirac. Have you
Yeah, heard of it. Carl Nelson, this ain't. I do this 24. Man, heard of it. Listen. They got. Listen, let me be graphic. Let me be graphic with this. Or that's up there. Let's cut to the chase around here. Not only that game, it's a thing they call the trap house, the dope houses. You got these virtual reality, these goggles that they put on. You got it where you can interact. You can be involved in a shootout. You have sex on a video phone. You put the phone, the eyeglass over you walk through dope house, and these cats just sit there doing it. They got, man, the chemical biological, the water's being wasted. And these adults wonder why these children ain't listen to them. You ain't listening to them. You ain't doing no investigation. What's going on? I ain't gonna say music. Listen to some of the lyrics. Listen to the garbage. Listen to the slop. Them artists. Let me tell you something, Brother Carl. It's a guy named about 4 weeks, about a month ago, right? They called me out to this video shoot. So I go out there. The young brother's doing a video shoot. He snapping, get all that, the guns, everything. So they want me to be in the video. So the brother say, "Whoa!" And the brother, he's saying the stereotypical. I don't know if you heard the young rappers and stuff they be saying. Shooting. He want to get his stuff played. He said, "Wait a minute, that's a chairman. We can't have a chairman in the video." His whole tone changed. Very, very intelligent cat. It shocked me. He stopped rapping. He was very articulate, very intelligent. He said, "I'm gonna bring them to you." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fish. I'm gonna bring the rest of them to you." So he knew he was very intelligent. He knew he couldn't sell no records if he showed how intelligent he was. You know what I'm saying? So he was doing all this stuff. As soon as I just got word last week, he got murdered. Got a DBK, that's his name. You go look at the contracts of a lot of these artists. As soon as they sign, they getting took out. You're told you want to survive, you want to eat. This is what you have to do. You follow what I'm saying? And people say, "Oh, well, they shouldn't do that." You still make that sound real good. It's a quote from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey say, when poverty comes in the front door, a lot of times morality leaves at the back window. This is being done by design. And we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I saw that. Heard about that shooting online. I didn't know that was close to where you guys are operating in Chicago. That's interesting. That's real deep. So this computer program that they've got called Chirac, something to do with Chirac, and where you could be a gangster.
You can do all that. You can live. You can live vicariously, Carl. And then listen, you got these children. Their first context of something, kill somebody, and you press restart. You go back. You know what I'm saying? So they have no concept of reality. You know what I'm saying? So when you come out, especially you inside the house, you know what I'm saying? It breeds the brain is being formed. Listen, white children are, excuse me.
Chairman, let me ask you, do we know who put out that video?
Oh man, you got a lot of times you got to go through the Negro fronts. Like when you go to the store, it'd be like them different foreign merchants. Always a Negro be, "Oh, I own this." Like a lot of politicians, you got to get past them and go to find out who really pulls the strings. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times do a little research. You can find out these different, you know what I'm saying, these different companies and entities. A lot of times they have a what do you call it in the construction industry, a pass through. They have a pass through. So you do, you know what I'm saying, you do little research. You'll find out who it is. Then they got they grab certain Negroes to be, we call slave success stories. They grab ones who have a disdain for black people. They put them as your leadership. You feel what I'm saying? And you think, you know what I'm saying? Then you tell your children, "Oh, you can be president one day. You can do this. You can be a big famous rapper one day." But you forgot to read the fine print. You can't have no connection to your community. You have to have a disdain for your people.
Hold on right there. We got to take a short break, and I want you to explain that to our listeners. I'm sure many of them have not heard about this video game they're playing about Chirac. 800-450-7876. Get you in and speak to Chairman Fred, and we'll take your calls next as the big show rolls on from Radio 1's flagship station. We're on FM
Fremont.
AM 1450 WOL, where information
True Crime Monday on TV One. She was deeply in love with him. They want to believe it's going to get better.
He had a dark side.
It just gets worse.
She had to fight for her life.
Fatal Attraction at 9. Then,
I didn't suspect that he was a straight out killer demon.
For My Man at 10.
I knew I was in trouble.
True Crime Monday starts tonight with an all-new Fatal Attraction at 9, followed by an all-new For My Man at 10 on TV One. Are you stuck in a timeshare you want out of? Tired of wasting thousands of dollars a year on maintenance fees and mortgage payments? Call now to get a free consultation and discover how to legally cancel your timeshare. The professionals at the Titan Exit Group are timeshare termination experts. In fact, they are so confident they can get you released from your timeshare, they offer a 100% money-back guarantee. If your timeshare is not canceled, you owe nothing. There's nothing to lose but the headaches and payments. Call the Titan Exit Group for your free consultation now. 800-200-0894. That's 800-200-0894. The call is free. The information is free. So don't wait. Call 800-200-0894. The Titan Exit Group has 100% 5-star ratings with the Better Business Bureau. You can trust you'll get the best exit options in the first free call. Call now. 800-200-0894.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front line, supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Maryland Army National Guard, aired by the Maryland, D.C., Delaware Broadcasters Association at this station.
Listen to the Carl Nelson Show on Alexa.
Alexa, hey, folks, I guess it's Chuck Fred Hampton. Chuck Fred, we're talking about this video game that our young people are playing about Chirac, and you can be a gangster and do all the negative things that you hear about Chicago on the term Chirac. So, Chuck Fred, I'm going to let you finish your response because I was asking you, do we know who created this?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
I'm up.
Do we know who created? Do we know who created this?
I'm up. Okay. Yeah, no, not that, but not off the top of my head, that particular game. But you see, what's I can't remember the name of one of these games. So detailed. It's popular too. Let me get back to you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that probably answer part of Donna's question. Why some of the folks who need to believe, some of the folks in jail need to be in there.
I bet. All due respect. All due respect. This is not to her personally. All due respect. I beg to differ. I beg.
Yeah.
You can show. It's a movie called Beast of No Nation. It's just out there. It has been so embedded in our people, a lot of people, regardless how much information is. I'm and I just sound as a pessimist. It was a case recently. I think they said a state trooper in Chicago, in Illinois. They say supposed to commit suicide. But you should see the response as soon as they say he was shot. You should just hear the response of people. Anything happens, people automatically. That black people, you know what I'm saying? I said, man, it's mind blowing. They have done such a job on our people. You know what I'm saying? That you got people in Chicago who don't even believe the cartel even exists. You had these highway shootings on the expressway in Chicago. Do you know when they got exposed that it was a white man doing this shooting? It was Silence of the Lambs. You just see people soon they say it's gonna rain tomorrow. Must be one of them damn black gangbangers. It's been sorry. Once you train like train the police, the image they give people, the police, the shoot at, you know what I'm saying? Once it's embedded in your brain at a certain time, you know what I'm saying? It takes some phenomenal cataclysmic situation to shake that mentality. If people be honest with themselves, and you say, man, the devil, they're not gonna think about no red person with no pitchfork, but black man, black people, black men. This system has done a job. We are fighting for the hearts and minds of the people. And I pick my moves because again, it's hard to go past that initial, like you look at the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom. The white people, the colonialists, the slave masters, they will put the Negro right there in the front. And a lot of people can't see past the Negro that's forced to do it. Go listen to Fannie Lou Hamer talk about how she was beat in jail. Go listen to her interview. She was so principled. She talks about how that sheriff in that jail in Mississippi told that black prisoner, "You beat her or I will beat you." She still acknowledged who technically, physically beat her, but she did not negate what that sheriff and the control that sheriff had. So I'm saying, I'd say at least give equal attention. I met people, this one sister talking about how much she hated her father for being locked up. I said, do you have an issue with the warden or the jailer? She couldn't. See, this reactionary pain, these reactionary responses, I say at least hold Uncle Sam and Sambo accountable. You know what I'm saying? But recognize the question of power. The question of power. I don't flatter these Negroes. Even the ones they use, these little mercenaries, they use to do some of the killing in Chicago. The railroad that gives them the gun, they get through using them. It's a wrap. But you gotta lay out who creates it.
Chairman, let me ask you this, Chairman. Well, can you explain because I understand that the guns and the ammunition what's left on the railroad track in Chicago. I heard the same story from Brother Ray down in Miami, and I think it was Mark Manahan told they did the same tactic in LA right around the uprising in '92. So can you explain to people like Donna when she said, I'm gonna go and humor you. I'm gonna humor you. I'm gonna go through this process. I'm gonna humor you. See, I'm not under the impression that, I mean, I'll leave all these stats and facts, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that if somebody drinks some green juice or read a particular book, they're gonna be one, two. This here. This is not no aberration. These are not isolated incidents. This is the protocol. This is how you colonize a community. This is historic. This is the history of the Woodlawn experiment in Chicago. With the University of Chicago, Sears and Roebuck, First National Bank, Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, funded over $100 million cold cash money through the fiscal agents of Reverend Leon Finney, Arthur Brazen. Where the money trickled down to the Blackstone Rangers with the Chicago Police Department dressed up like the devil disciples in the drive-bys on Stone's headquarters, where it created a crime epidemic, where the property value was decreased, and the University of Chicago got that property. This is not just a case in LA or Virginia. This is the protocol. See, when you go to certain situations, you say, okay, maybe this one person done it. You say, wait a minute, hold on, this a plan with this here. You say, wait a minute, how was it that everybody acting the same? You know what I'm saying? How was it in the community with the responses with cracking? This is a protocol. It's a lot of people think that we are worthy of, you know what I'm saying, of being, you know, we look at this subjective, elementary, individualistic, oh man, that person's a bad person. You hear people in Nazi in the gas chambers talking about that person took that person bread. He must be we gotta stop taking. As well as wait a minute, who controlling the gas chambers around here? This is a historical tactic. In Menard Prison, the same Menard that Chairman Fred was at in 1969 and 1989. The Aryan Brotherhood equivalency known as the North Siders. These now, if you looking outside, you say, "Oh, that's a shame." With the black gangs killing each other, but the white prisoners, the North Siders, they would have the guns and tell the black organizations, "You gotta this is what you gotta do to get the guns we get through using." When we get through using, the white people would have picnic. They would bring them guns to them. What's, you know what I'm saying? In Chicago, ain't no drugs coming through this community without no cartel cut on it. None. So all these examples, you know, like the mafioso, Luciano wasn't lucky. They tell this in order for you to succeed. They tell these different, even the comedians, the black comedians say, okay,
It's gonna be, they're gonna let one famous comedian be at a time. Now you can have different comedians be funny in their own type of way, different places. But this imperialism says no. You have to go at this one. The rappers, you gotta attack this one in order to make it. You know what I'm saying? This is the dynamics of imperialism. It's like this the modus operandi. Then you can get caught in your own subjective bubble. Well, I didn't use crack. Well, I didn't go. The world does not revolve around the individual. Everybody's impacted by this politic. Go follow this case right now, Carl. It's called the case of FBG Duck. Go follow that case. It's happening right now. FBG Duck in Chicago. Follow that case and look at the different dynamics. Use it as a case study.
Yeah, I've been reading about that. But hold on, I got some folks in your town want to talk to you, Chairman. 800-450-7876. And Kosie's joining us from the Windy City. He's online too. And Kosie, you're on with Chairman Fred.
Hello, Chairman Fred.
What's going on, bro?
Carl. And my love for you brothers. I just wanted to make a little statement about the criminal and justice system and how people are locked up in mass for less than nothing. But the real criminals that come into the criminal and justice system are let right back out into the community. That's one of the reasons we have this constant explosion of violent and senseless crime in the community, because it's by design. These people are let back out in the community to do that. They are not locked up. The ones that are locked up are basically nonviolent offenders.
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to make that statement.
Yes.
To help clarify some things about the system.
They have a great call. Great call. They have a psychological.
And I'm going to just save the HamptonHouse.com.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna hear from me, baby.
I look forward to it. They have a psychological profile. Thank you. They have a psychological profile. You remember that? Okay. It's a case that happened recently. Two cases that people didn't get too much media attention. The older white lady that's come from about a Sox baseball stadium. She got murdered, and they locked up some people, and the news reporters say they let them go. Then there was another case, attorney Linda Minch. She mysteriously got murdered. They say she was supposed to be a witness in regards to R. Kelly cases. Some other stuff going on, but there was no media attention. They say, and we no attention on it. They have a policy with they have profile. They know who the killers and the hitters are. They create them. You know what I'm saying? And it's a policy called catch and release. So what's catch and release? When you go fishing, they throw that fish back in the water. The ecosystem is set up. They got one guy. This guy's a known psychopath. They created him. He was raised in their foster care system, their orphanages. They say they got everything from which cat this dude killed as a child. They created them. They flood them, and then once you put them in the community, it infects the community. You know what I'm saying? Others say, well, that's how you can make it. Be like him. It's a case. It's a movie. It's a documentary called Snitches. In Alabama, they sent one informant with 7 kilos of cocaine and 3 AK-47 weapons. When he got through with that city in Alabama, it was not one black man left for them. Not one. All town full of women and children. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Now, I will go with you on this. There are some people in our community who are mercenaries, and you can't go talk to them about this. You doing this wrong. This is they don't listen. They are created. When you come to all this. If I read a book to you and it's wrong, they on a mission. So like you send somebody in Vietnam, they drop some American soldiers. You trying to explain appeal to their morality, and keep calling them brother. They telling you they on a mission. They are state trained, state made, and they come on a mission.
I got a tweet for you. I know we come up on a break real soon. I got a tweeter send us a question to ask you, and as soon as I can open it up here, It says, can you ask Chairman Fred, does he and the Panther Cubs endorse and plan to be part of or testify at the Spirit of Mandela Tribunal to charge genocide and free all political prisoners October 22nd through the 25th this weekend?
We wasn't set to. We wasn't set to. We definitely open to it though. Any information they got, you know what I'm saying. We definitely put out, we hold fast that about the position of genocide. Any venue that we can put the word out, we definitely open to it. So if they got any, information, for us, some, where it's going to be convened and so on and so forth, let us know. We definitely open to it. Definitely. We want to play to.
So Tweeter, get that information to Chairman Fred.
Yes.
Another tweet for you, Chairman Fred. Chairman Fred, do you think law enforcement can shut down the gangs, but choose to allow them to stay on the streets because they are only killing each other?
If anyone believes that the police or the administration want to stop crime in the community, you believe Don King want to stop boxing.
Now, that brings us to what's going on now with the fight with the police and the city about the vaccination. The police are threatening to quit, and the mayor is threatening to fire them if they don't take the vaccine. How is it, if whatever, I'm not concerned mostly about whether or not they should take the vaccine, but what would be the impact? Hold that thought right here. They just tell me we got to take a break. So what would be the impact if all the police officers in Chicago decide that they're not going to work because they don't want to take the jab? What would be the impact, especially on our community? Folks, you want to join this discussion with Chairman Fred? Hit us up at 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls after this short break on FM 95.9 AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Celebrate Black History 365 days a year. Let's salute past and present leaders and role models and continue to work together for a better future for African Americans as well as all Americans. This message courtesy of A. Wash and Associates Incorporated, serving the DMV for 25 plus years in commercial and industrial electrical, construction management, security access control, fire alarms, audio and video, licensed and bonded. For estimates and bids, call 202-388-4000, 202-388-4000.
Listen to the Carl Nelson Show now on our free mobile app.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. Chairman Fred, before you answer the question, the tweeter says they will get in touch with you about the Mandela Tribunal. It's going to charge genocide and free all political prisoners. That's going to take place this weekend. But again, is that a lot of talk about whether the police going to go on strike, or whatever they call me? They're not going to say they're going to strike, but they're going to sit home. Or if they're going to get suspended by, with their fight with the mayor. Is there a lot of concern in our community about that?
No, let me just give my tweet address or Twitter handle. Chairman Fred Jr. 1, I believe is my Twitter handle. Back to the question at hand, Brother Carl. Not really in the community, no. In regards, there's not been a lot of discussion about it. Not on the ground, about it. I mean, you can't. It's hard to, it's like going up in the, it's like going up in the gas chamber. Nazi Germany saying, they talking about that soldiers not gonna be there. People like, oh, man, we dying already. I mean, okay, so your point is what? I mean, it's like, I mean, that's the people like, okay, what? So they gonna, kill us official style, unofficial style, George Zimmerman, or or John Bird. So it's. Take badge on or badge off. So it's really not. People like, hey, man, it's like the lawlessness, wild west anyway. So no, it's really not. A lot of discussion about it. And that's the question.
All right. Well, that's the answer. So what does that mean? That mean the so-called black houses that these cops have, they're going to take a break from that for a while? And if you can explain to the audience what those black houses are.
The actual terms of black sites, where these are underground, places or above ground places, where people, taking, there's no police procedure on it. Police will pull up on you, law enforcement will pull up on you, ski mask up, no badges. There's no protocols, like you get one phone call, attorney call, just take you. And it got a lot of attention after a white person, was taken there. Then it got a lot of national media attention. But it's an occurrence that happened. Many people have been disappeared. Many people have been taken to the black sites and never to be seen again. So they throughout the city, throughout the country. If you ask me, you ask us. But what was the question you asked, Brother Carl? You said.
Let me jump in here for a second, Chairman. These black sites, they couldn't exist without the help of people in the community. Do you think there's some people in it who look like us, the community, know that these sites are there and look the other way?
Yeah, because a lot of times in the black community, when stuff happens to you to the point, like back to the discussion you brought about the video games, when something happens to you, our pain is normalized. See, I put up, I think the last 4 days ago, I think it was about 60 people shot in Chicago, probably about 30 dead or something. I put up on Facebook, I say 60 dogs shot, 30 dead. People say, whoa! I said, my fault, excuse me, it was a mistake. I mean, people. It's normal to, in our community. You follow what I'm saying? You normalize it. So black sites, that's the you can tell somebody right now. The police, took in Kenner, Louisiana, police beat this lady down. Okay, your point is what? It becomes normalized. Now you come back and say, like even the missing persons phenomenon. Black people come up missing all the time. I mean, all the time. So it's normalized to us. You know what I'm saying? You say, man, all the dogs disappearing. What? We got to call Peter. This is an emergency. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem here. Other day, a shooting happened up, on north side by the Gold Coast. Police woke. I tell you what. Do you know the response when the Chicago, when the police had killed Chicago, they locked this city down. You couldn't, nothing moving. They locked it. Well, everybody knew. It was, man, drug dealers was fighting each other. Like, man, who done this? You messed up the drug spot. Within less than an hour, they came back and say, here's the person we have. This is their former girlfriend. One case, they say, here's the guy's former boyfriend. This we stayed at. They gave you everything, their whole history, detail. This was less than an hour. Every day, all day, Carl Nelson. A 3-year-old black girl shot in the head. No suspects found. 5-year-old black boy shot. This every day, all day. You become immune. You normal. You normalize to it. So black site. Huh?
Yeah, but let's go to the children for a second, man. Because you said what? A 4-year-old got shot?
Oh no! A 4-year-old. This is a common occurrence.
So what's this doing to the psyche of our children then? If this is an everyday occurrence, they're not even moving.
It's a movie called. I didn't mean to cut you. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you up, bro. It's a movie, Brother Carl, called City of Gods, and by Brazil, and the guy was going on these stick-ups. And the guy told the guy, he said, listen, youngster, after the third time, it becomes normal. Becomes normal to you. Becomes normal to you.
My thing is for these young children, these babies who are seeing murder, experiencing this at such a young age, are there any people are they getting any help? Is psychologists come in to talk to them to tell them this is not how people live. You shouldn't, when you're much older, even teenagers or young people shouldn't be experiencing
that early.
But you're talking about our babies.
Carl,
are they getting any help? Any mental help?
Carl, I was on the show. I was doing a live interview with you, Brother Carl. I was doing a live interview with you. We was doing an interview when the shooting occurred and the blood got over the blood was splattered over the young boy's face. Right then, and I told you, Carl, I said, sad to say, it's going to happen again. Less than an hour, we got the phone. I called you back. You were off the air then. I said, another murder just happened. I can look in that baby's eyes. That boy, you know what I'm saying? I take him out. I work with him as much as I can. I can see the damage. But he has to keep moving. He has, you know what I'm saying? He has to keep moving. The pain, and when he releases it, there's no telling. This, you know what I'm saying? No, there was no I did a song called "No President's Crap for Me." No, there was no image of President Obama, as we've seen at the Connecticut, was it Sandy Hook, the shootings, where they seen officials crying on national TV for them. No, and that's your question. No, there's no therapeutic response. No, what you will have is when that baby releases his pain, you will have cold, callous, capitalist inspired responses. What's wrong with him? Why is he like this? He locked him up. Oh, don't give him no excuses. Throw away the key. That's what you will have. You will have reactionary responses. You will not see the pain that pain reproduces. You will have this subjective reactionary response. So to answer your question, no. Now, when it comes to other communities, I just told you, look at the case of white boy Rick in Detroit. They're doing all type of discussions. How was this young child forced to sell drugs by the police? This is a child. How dare this happen in our society? Go look at the countless amount of black children that are forced into the drug economy. No, we don't. There's no excuse. When he's only 10 years old, man, I don't care. Lock him up. Throw away the key. That's self-hatred.
Yeah. Chairman, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick this up because do you think if somebody else was doing the shooting that there'd be more people would be more concerned about our young children now? Because they're basically babies, 4-year-olds, and having blood in a shootout and having the blood splattered. This is something he'll probably remember all the rest of his lives. And you're right. We don't know how this is going to manifest itself when that child grows up. But I want to find out if you think it was something else, or whether it wasn't quote unquote black on black, as they say. If it wasn't that, there'd be more people. People should be up in arms about what's going on there, especially with the babies. So I want you to respond to that on the other side of this short break. Folks, you too can join us and speak to Chairman Fred Hampton. Hit us up at 800-450-7876, and we'll take your phone calls after this short break on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOAL, where information is power.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand? No, you hold my hand. Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. I learned patience with my adopted dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
We'll have to start a band. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. AdoptUSKids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Science is not an opinion. People come before pipelines. It's not too late to act on climate. No one is above the law. At Earth Justice, we hold these beliefs to be self-evident. As a national legal nonprofit fighting for your right to a healthy environment, we are 150-plus lawyers representing clients free of charge, because now, more than ever, the Earth needs a good lawyer. No one fights more cases on the environment than Earth Justice. And we win because these are fights we cannot lose. We win for scientists so they can serve at the EPA. We win at the Supreme Court because clean water is for everyone. We win against fossil fuel plants so communities can breathe freely. If you believe what we believe, then help us fight the good fight and help us keep winning by going to earthjustice.org today. That's earthjustice.org.
The Carl Nelson Show, now available on iTunes.
I'd like to stand with us, folks. Our guest is Chairman Fred Hampton. If you'd like to speak to the chairman, reach out to us, 800-450-7876. Before we get back to that, I'm just reminding some of the folks who will be stopping by in the next few days. Educator Professor Small will be here. Also, Greer, his partner, Dr. J, Dr. Leonard Jeffers. Futuristic researcher, Dr. Sadiq Bakari. Also, going to get some information on the ongoing student sitting over at Howard University that started last Tuesday. I understand the students are still there. Also, Mika Stevenson, one of the legends from Motown, is going to be with us as well. So if you're in the DMV, keep your radio locked right here on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. So, Chairman, before we left, we were talking about our youngsters. These are basically their babies. And you mentioned you saw it with your own eyes. There was somebody getting shot, and the blood splattered over this child's face. And I'm just wondering what sort of emotional problems that child's going to have. You know, nightmares or seeing stuff like that. They're getting used to this. Is becoming, you know, as you mentioned, it just happens all the time. So they're sort of inoculated against feelings because they probably grow up thinking this is the way people live, and that's incorrect. So I'm just wondering, is anybody coming in to talk to these children?
The whole let's be honest. Let's do.
Chairman again?
Yeah.
Is that the way?
No. Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is. Yeah, good.
I say let's even be honest with ourselves. Let's like do a self-analysis. Look at the impact. Look at with certain scents and certain songs, impact in our memory banks of us growing up, how we respond to certain things. Just even in our own lives. You know, we hear certain songs, certain noises, what have you, certain experiences. In particular, those developmental stages. In particular. This is not something that's whether you're a good person or a bad person. This is, you have to, even when you train dogs, you have to be cautious of that. You have to, puppies at a certain time in their life, what impacts them, what sticks with them. Add to that, when you have a situation that's reinforced by every arm, every tentacle of the society. In other words, it's not done. You don't hear the news people acknowledge your pain. You don't hear the teachers. It's an official. You hear on a mainstream radio. You hear artists saying such terms about you and your people without any repercussions. You are called niggas and bees so much you think it's your name by official entities. You go to stores, you see the slumlord where they talk to you. This is official now. This is something that many parents tell you, believe in the system. And many people get morality mixed up with legality. So you think, this is legal, it must be right. Mind you, slavery was legal. Mind you. So many people say, this is the right thing. I'm supposed to be, picking cotton. I'm supposed to be getting whipped. This is the God said, the law says it's right. It's the right thing. So it's reinforced to you. Then you have those who stand and say, this is not, this ain't how this gonna go. And they're challenging you, and you see what happened to them. You see Reverend Nat Turner's body, the murder, the assassination. You see what happened to the Black Panther Party. As a 14-year-old child told me in the school I was speaking at. He said, they kill people like you. 14 years old. 14 years old. Now I have prisoners in prison tell me, I like what you do, Chairman Fred. You stand up for us. He said, man, but I can't handle the heat that come with you, man. They don't harass the ones who raping people in here. They don't harass the ones who sell the drugs for them. We see them come through, they transfer you, they shake your cell down. I like what you're doing. However, I just can't handle the heat. I gotta survive. So these are adults saying this, Brother Carl. Now let's talk about children. Children. When you see this, when you see the repercussions, you go back. That story I didn't tell you. You was on the phone with me. We was talking when that happened. We were talking.
Yeah.
After the blood was on that child's face, you seen grown people walk right to the liquor store, go right to the dope house. There was no call for psychiatrists or therapists. There was no days called up for school. There was no official acknowledgement that this is wrong. Stuff kept happening. Now go back and look at it. What happened in Chicago when the police was murdered? Those children seen that. They said that person's life must be valuable because there were no buses running anymore. Traffic was stopped. No drugs were sold. All day on the news, it was we must deal with this problem. And it was we don't know if they framed the people they got or whatever the case, but whatever the case was, they said we dealt with this. A criminal psychologist has said before, behavior is affected by consequences.
Chairman, somebody just shot me the information about the video game that we talked about, True or Die in Chirac. It seems like the game was produced, or they're fronting a young brother who produced this game. and we're talking about, what white people, there's no empathy for what's happening in your city. There's games like this, and the people can play from all over the world. And this is going to be the idea of what Downside Chicago is all about. Question: is it true or is it exaggerated? Because I'm sure the entire South Side isn't the Wild Wild West.
Former Superintendent of Chicago Police Department Eddie Johnson was his name. He said at a press conference, it was right before the what do you call it? The Taste of Chicago. Taste of Chicago. They were like, well, should people come to Chicago? This affected tourism. All the murders and killing. He said, whoa, wait a minute. He said, listen, this is not the whole city. This is not the whole city. We feel free to come in and engage in tourism. And people must acknowledge that there is a Chicago and there is a Chirac. Go through the neighborhoods around the University of Chicago. People out there sunbathing right now. Beautiful place hanging out. Go down. Now, sometimes when that blood spills over to the Magnificent Mile, when those children mess up and go downtown, they get corrected. They say, well, wait a minute, pull back over, U-turn. So sometimes it kind of waves, but for all practical purposes, the guidelines are drawn where to pull it at and where not to pull it at.
So again, who's helping? The same question that people who should be helping the Hampton House. Who's helping our young people understand that what they're seeing isn't real?
The Hampton House, Black Panther Party Cubs.
Well, but you've taken the challenge to help these young people. But from what I understand, it's a lot of them. So how can you do it all?
It ain't just we are. It's not just the black. It's the community. It's people in the communities. It's the people. We don't have a resource. We are a resource. However, we are fighting. We going against all odds. But there is some battle. We fighting. But we are a resource. We need the people, the ones who got the resources. We have to create such a climate on this plantation that those in that house with massa, they better come outside with some help, some butter knives, some biscuits, something to help those out in the field getting down. You know what I'm saying? We got to up the ante. When the rappers and all the people on the resources come in, how can they support this struggle? That's what got to happen. The people who is Malcolm X said, got nothing to lose.
You get any help from some of the young rappers there? You've got some famous rappers who call Chicago home. Are they
No. Let me say a blanket. I want to say a blanket. No, but a lot of you know what I'm saying. The conditions have to be so intense. But a lot of times, no, it's when you like mainstream. You know what I'm saying. You really don't see that. That help. You know what I'm saying. Let me shout out. My brother Rakim post. We miss each other. He post came through. Like he based out of New York. That's our brother. He gonna be coming through. Young comedian, DC Fly 85 South. We shout him out. He was here at 5 o'clock this morning at the Hampton House. He putting the word out right now. So how can you support? He was here at 5 o'clock this morning at the Hampton House.
Well, I'm glad some people are stepping up. Because it's going to take all hands on deck. Because the other folks don't care. As long as we're trying to eliminate each other, they don't care. In fact, they're happy. There's one less of us.
A lot of black folks don't care.
We got to solve this problem ourselves.
We got to be real careful when we say we also, Brother Carl.
True. Go ahead. I know, but I know you've been around long enough. You can spot the infiltrators
through the dope. I smell them through the dope. I've been so through the dope, but I gotta go through the procedure sometimes for other people to see it. A lot of times I do like Richard Pryor bodyguard say, I kept telling Richard Pryor that Eddie Murphy loved him. Richard Pryor, why do you say something like that? Why do you feel that? His bodyguard say, well, the news said the interview said that. Richard Pryor said, you know what, man? I'm gonna go over here just for you. Let's go. So they say take me to Eddie Murphy house. They wait about 7 hours downstairs. Eddie Murphy. And it ain't dawned on his bodyguard that Eddie Murphy wasn't even with his brother, Charlie Murphy at the time. You know what I'm saying? So Richard Pryor say, I'm gonna go through this for you though. So finally Eddie Murphy come down. He look at the bodyguard see the whole thing, and then when they filming the movie Harlem Nights, the bodyguard say, the white people had took Eddie Murphy and elevated him above these greats, Richard Pryor, Red Fox. He said, but the real talent was happening outside of the film. He said, I gained so much respect for Richard Pryor to see he knew this all the time. So a lot of times I go through the process with certain people just to show them, man, I'm clear on this here. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. Black people learn best through white folks telling them something or them telling themselves. They feel like can't know the black folks tell them nothing. So that's what we say. We hiding the contradictions. That's all we do. Because if I say, oh, he the bad guy, he hate me. Oh, we just hiding the contradiction. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do.
So Jim, for folks who are not in Chicago, listen to you around the country, outside the country as well, how can they help you achieve what you're trying to do?
We just had a whole crew coming on point. Well, I mean, I did. They come on to the Hampton House, 804 South 17th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, 60153. Well, they say, well, I can't make it there. They can support. They can, you know what I'm saying? They can go to Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House, PayPal, Chairman Fred Jr., Chairman Fred Jr. via PayPal, SaveTheHamptonHouse.org. Hit the donate button. Again, if they close to Chicago, come on through themselves. 804 South 17th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, 60153. All right,
It's getting ready to get cooler now. The cool weather is the needs going to be changed when the weather gets cooler, or is it be colder?
Yeah, like I just said earlier, we had the Hampton House had a service a warming center one time. It was they call it vortex, intense cold. So we constantly meet the needs and desires of the people. So we got to be ever developing. You know what I'm saying? But the core of capitalism. They killing us all through all 4 seasons. They don't take no breaks. You know what I'm saying? I think they got covers for the bullets. You know what I'm saying? The bullets stay warm.
Yeah, but we've got to figure out how we can help you, because of what you're doing. You're trying to help our people, and there's just so much going on there. And I'm just wondering, did you ever figure out if your Fred Hampton Jr., you ever figure out if your dad was a lawyer or a banker or he was something other than a revolutionary, that your life would have been different?
Yeah, my life. If he say it again, Brother Carl.
If your dad wasn't the revolutionary that he was, say your dad was a banker or a bus driver or a teacher, do you think your life would have been different?
I think so. I'm sure. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes we're influenced by what's around us.
Yeah.
And having said that's on your side. But when you look at all the young people too who live around you, and they're being influenced by what they see.
Yes,
So how do we break that chain?
You acknowledge it. I think one. Also, not just we don't look at something. It's not just the individual that impacts you, not just DNA. We also conditions. These conditions. It breeds, like I talk to people. I say, what they have to deal with. You have to survival is something, man. You have to put in context. What do you know what I'm saying? Like I fight for climate, so this is my calling. I think even on Chairman Fred's tombstone it says, "Had my people been free, I don't know what else for my life doing." So it's not just and even being a revolutionary. I think Malcolm X has said something like this. This system really dictates on how we fight. You know what I'm saying? So when you're powerless, it says you got to acknowledge that they create the impact. They create the conditions. And I had a real issue with this term right here, Brother Carl. Some people like we all have choices. I have an issue with that. When you colonize, you know what I'm saying? And people who say that either they have not.
We're running out of time.
Okay.
I want you to give out your information again because there's a lot of people who tweeted and said they want to help, and I hope they follow through. So how do they reach you?
Yes, indeed. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Chairman Fred Jr. at gmail.com. Say the Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House. Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House. PayPal, Chairman Fred Jr., Chairman Fred Jr. at gmail.com via PayPal. Also, SaveTheHamptonHouse.org and go to the donate button. Again, Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House. PayPal, Chairman Fred Jr. at gmail.com via PayPal.
It's not for Chairman himself, so it's for the folks, our people in Chicago. Thank you, Chairman. We got to run.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And thank you for sharing all that information. Folks, before we get out, just want to remind you, stay strong, stay positive, and please stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow right here on FM 95.9 AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
The thought of my son growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
In January of 2017, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
And within 24 hours of that diagnosis, we found ourselves here in Memphis.